Hello, my dears. I'm Grandma Lena, and I'm so grateful you're here with me today. I'm 68, born in 1957 in a little Nebraska town, and I'm sharing a story I've held close for over 6 decades, a story even my kids don't fully know. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear who are the most special people in your life. Drop their names in the comments and let me know what state you're watching from. Your likes and subscriptions mean the world to this grandma, helping me reach more hearts with my story. Now let's begin. My father shattered my childhood at 8 when he whispered, "This is our little secret, princess." Our home in Oakwood, Nebraska, was modest but warm, nestled in a neighborhood of hard-working folks in the 1960s. My dad, Anthony, ran a small mechanic shop behind our house, fixing cars with a whistle and a wrench. Mum, Claire, was a seamstress, her sewing machine humming as she mended clothes for half the town. We were the picture of a good family. Church every Sunday, tidy house, no debts. I was their only child, a miracle after Mum's 3 miscarriages. "Marina's our treasure," Dad would say, beaming to neighbours. No money could buy her smile. I was a joyful kid, chasing chickens in the yard, playing with Mum's handmade cloth dolls, or sketching chalk flowers on the sidewalk. The world felt safe, full of people who wanted the best for me. How wrong I was. At 6, I first sensed something off. I was in the bath when Dad walked in without knocking. I tried to cover myself, embarrassed, but he laughed it off. "Don't be silly, Marina. I'm your dad. No need to be shy." He stood there, watching, with a smile that didn't feel right. I brushed it off. Fathers protect, don't they? By 7, his affection changed. Hugs lingered too long, hands rested where they shouldn't, kisses grazed too close to my lips. "I love you more than anything," he'd say when I tensed. A father gets to love his daughter however he wants. Mum was always working, leaving early to deliver sewing, coming home exhausted. Dad used those gaps. At first it was subtle, a caress too low, a kiss sliding to my neck. "Our little girl's getting so pretty," he'd murmur, stroking my hair. "You'll break hearts some day." It left a knot in my stomach, an urge to run, but where? He was my father, my home's protector. At 8, things turned darker. It was a frigid January night in 1965, rare for Springfield, Illinois, where we'd moved for Mum's work. She'd gone to bed early, worn out from sewing. I was curled up on the couch watching TV under a blanket when Dad sat beside me. "Come here, princess," he said, arms open. "Warm your dad up." I went, trusting the man who fixed my toys and bought me ice cream after church. He pulled me onto his lap, the blanket hiding his hands as they moved to places no father should touch. "Dad, this is weird," I whispered, squirming. "It's not weird," he said, voice low in my ear. "This is how fathers love their daughters." "But it's our little secret, okay? Mum wouldn't understand. She'd be jealous." Those words, "our little secret," still haunt me. He made it sound like a game, something special just for us. It wasn't. It was the start of abuse that stole my childhood. When he was done, he sent me to bed with a warning. "If you tell, they'll take you away to an orphanage where kids are hurt. You don't want that, do you?" At 8, I believed him. He was my father. Why would he lie? A new routine settled in. By day, we were the perfect family. Anthony, the respected mechanic, Claire, the skilled seamstress, me, the polite girl with good grades. At night, when Mum slept, our home became a nightmare. He'd creep into my room, door creaking softly, whispering, "Princess, time for our secret." I'd pretend to sleep, escaping into imagined worlds, flying through clouds, swimming in oceans, running through flower fields. Anything to flee what he did to my body. At school, I changed. The bubbly Marina faded into a quiet girl with a faraway look. My grades slipped, and I shunned playtime, preferring to draw alone, sketching stories of girls saved by angels. "What's wrong, Marina?" my teacher, Mrs. Wilson, asked. "You seem sad," I nearly told her, the secret burning my tongue. But his threats, orphanages, mistreatment, Mum's heartbreak, stopped me. Nothing, ma'am, I lied. Just tired. Tired didn't cover it. I was drained from pretending, from smiling through pain, from living as a normal girl by day and a victim by night. Mum noticed too. "You're losing weight, Marina," she'd say, measuring me for a dress. "And those dark circles, aren't you sleeping?" If only she knew why. But how could I tell her? How could I break her heart knowing she loved him? So I lied again. "I'm fine, Mum, just studying hard." From 8 to 12, the abuse continued, a double life. To the world, I was the well-mannered daughter of Anthony and Claire, helping with sewing, keeping up at school. At night, I was prey to a predator who should have been my shield. Sharing this hurts, my friends, even after decades. The words catch in my throat, but I tell it because I know there are other Marinas out there suffering in silence. You're not alone. I've walked this path and found a way out. If you're watching from across the US, share your state in the comments. It makes me feel closer to you. And please, leave a like. It helps this grandma spread her message. At 12, things shifted. Mum's sewing business boomed when a Springfield store hired her, bringing more money but longer hours. She'd leave early, return late. "Take care of Marina," she'd tell Dad. "Don't worry, Claire," he'd reply, his smile chilling me. "I'll look after our princess like no one else." With Mom gone more, he grew bolder, no longer waiting for her to sleep. He'd find me in the bathroom, kitchen, anywhere as soon as she left. "We're getting closer, aren't we, Princess?" he'd say, touching me. "Our special secret." By 12, I knew it was wrong, that fathers don't touch daughters like that. It wasn't love, it was a crime. But fear kept me silent, fear of what telling would unleash. Fear of shattering our family, of being called a liar, kept me silent. Puberty hit, and it only made things worse. My father's eyes lit up at my changing body, his comments dripping with a hunger that made me want to vanish. "You're turning into such a beautiful young lady," he'd say, lingering at my bedroom door as I dressed. "Soon you'll be a woman." The word woman felt like a threat, like he was counting down to something darker. I was counting too, days until I could grow up, leave, escape this nightmare. At school, a science teacher gave a talk on child abuse, about inappropriate touches, adults preying on kids, the need to tell someone safe. I froze, her words painting my life in stark clarity. After class, she pulled me aside. "Marina, you okay? You went pale back there." The truth clawed at my throat. "My father's been abusing me since I was 8. Please help." But I pictured Mom slaving over her sewing, adoring him. "I'm fine, Mom," I lied. "Just tired." Tired, my flimsy shield hiding the weight of my secret. By 13, I started fighting back, not with fists, I was too scared, but with small acts of defiance. I locked the bathroom door when I showered, faked headaches to dodge his hugs, kept my bedroom light on, knowing he preferred shadows for his visits. "You're different, Princess," he said, annoyed when I pulled away. "You're drifting from your dad." "I'm growing up," I shot back, trying to sound normal. "I'm not a kid anymore." His eyes narrowed. "Doesn't matter how old you get, you'll always be mine." That word, mine, chilled me, branding me as his possession. I started dreaming of escape, hopping a bus to Chicago, finding a job, a new life. But a 13-year-old on her own. No one would hire me, house me. I'd end up on the streets, or worse. And Mum, how would she survive without me? So I stayed, pretending, surviving, praying for a miracle that never came. At 14, I met Lucy, the new girl next door. She was my age, but seemed wiser, bolder. We clicked, and for the first time in years I had a confidant. One afternoon, sprawled in her room with records spinning, she asked, "Marina, why do you tense up when your dad's around?" Her question hit like a lightning bolt. I thought I'd hidden it well. I considered lying, but I was exhausted. "Lucy, if I tell you something, will you keep it secret?" "Of course," she said, "we're friends." So I told her. Everything. The touches, the night visits, The little secret since I was 8. The fear, shame, confusion. Lucy paled, tears streaming as she listened. When I finished, she hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. "Marina, this is abuse," she said, voice shaking. "Your dad's a monster. You have to tell your mum." "I can't," I sobbed. "She loves him. It'd destroy us." "He's destroying you," Lucy countered. "What if it gets worse?" Her words haunted me that night. Worse? What could be worse than this? It got worse. At 14, my body's changes drew his gaze like a predator's. "You're looking like your mum when she was young," he'd say in front of guests. Arm around me, his grip too tight, his hand slipping down my back when no one watched. Mum smiled, thinking it sweet. She didn't see the truth behind his words. The abuse grew bolder, more frequent. He stopped waiting for her to sleep, seizing any moment we were alone, mornings before she woke, afternoons when she ran errands, nights under the guise of tucking me in. "Princess, you're more beautiful every day," he'd whisper, creeping into my room. "You know how special you are to Dad, right?" I'd shut my eyes, escaping to imagined fields or beaches, but the horror was too real, too heavy. My body showed the toll. I lost weight, my school uniforms hanging like sacks. My nails were bitten raw, and nightmares woke me screaming, though they paled against my reality. Mum fretted. "Marina, are you sick? Need a doctor?" How could I say the poison was at home, in the man she loved? "Just school stress, Mum," I lied. "It'll pass." At school my grades tanked. The once bright student couldn't focus, always on edge, exhausted from faking normalcy. "Is Marina having trouble at home?" my English teacher asked Mum at a meeting. "Not that I know," Mum said, puzzled. "We're a peaceful family." Peaceful. A cruel irony. Our home was a war zone, me battling a hidden enemy alone. At 15, he started stalking me outside the house, showing up by chance at the ice cream shop, the movie theatre, the park where I hung with friends. "Your dad's so attentive," a friend remarked after he offered us a ride. "Always looking out for you." If only she knew. He was watching, controlling, terrified, I'd tell. I was terrified too, of him knowing I'd told Lucy, of what he'd do if the truth came out, of no one believing me. He began giving me gifts, a blouse I'd admired, trendy shoes, a silver bracelet for my birthday. "Our little secret," he'd say, handing them over after another night of horror. "Mum doesn't need to know the cost." I hated them, each one a shackle tying me to silence, making me feel complicit. But what could I do? I took them. In 1973, at nearly 16, a family crisis shifted things. My grandma had a stroke, and Mum went to Cedar Falls for 2 weeks to care for her. "Will you be okay with your dad?" Mum asked, worried. I wanted to scream, "Take me with you, don't leave me with him." But I forced a smile. "I'll be fine, Mum." Those weeks were a living hell. Without Mum's presence, even unaware, he grew brazen, violent, insatiable. "Just us now, Princess," he said that first night. No need to hide. I stayed at school as long as I could, inventing group projects, joining clubs, anything to delay going home. But night always came, and so did he. Then I met Carlos, a kind, respectful boy from school who liked me. When he asked me out, I said yes, desperate for a few hours of normalcy. Our first date was a Saturday in Central Park, a sunny afternoon that felt like a lifeline. For those hours I was just Marina, a girl on a date, not a victim. But even then, I glanced over my shoulder, half expecting my father's shadow to follow. Carlos held my hand as we strolled through Central Park, his laughter over silly football team stories washing away my fears for a moment. He bought me a strawberry ice cream, and when he gave me a shy, sweet kiss goodbye, my first real kiss, I felt a flicker of joy, the kind a 16-year-old should feel. But that joy crumbled when I spotted my father across the park, his eyes locked on us, cold and unyielding. At home, he grabbed my arm hard enough to leave bruises. "Who was that boy?" he snarled. What were you doing?" "Just a friend from school," I stammered, pulling away. "I don't want you seeing boys," he said, eyes dark with rage. "You're mine." That word, mine, was a chain, stripping me of any will, any freedom. "Dad, I'm growing up," I said, scraping together courage. "It's normal to hang out with friends." He laughed, a sound that iced my veins. "Normal? You think you know normal? That boy only wants one thing, and you know what it is." The hypocrisy burned. He, who'd stolen my innocence since I was 8, dared to accuse me of impurity. That night his punishment for my disobedience was the worst yet, a violation so brutal I considered ending it all. I stared at Grandma's blood pressure pills in the bathroom, my father's razor glinting nearby, tempting me to escape forever. But Mum's face flashed in my mind, her tired smile, her love, and a tiny voice inside whispered, "Hold on, this won't last forever." When Mum returned from Cedar Falls, she noticed my gaunt frame, my pallor, my silence. In the kitchen one night, just us, she stroked my hair. "What happened while I was gone, Marina? Did you and your dad fight?" The truth clawed at my throat. "Mum, Dad's been hurting me since I was 8. But the front door creaked open. He was home. Fear choked me. "Nothing, Mum," I lied. "I just missed you." Weeks later, Lucy cornered me, her face grim. "Marina, I can't watch you fade anymore. If you don't tell your mum, I will." Panic surged. "No, Lucy, you promised. He'll kill me if he knows I told." "He's killing you already," she said, tears falling. "You're disappearing." She was right. I was a shadow, my soul chipped away with each assault. "Give me time," I begged. "I'll tell her my way." Lucy gave me an ultimatum. By month's end or I do it. That deadline lit a fire in me. I had to act. I started saving every cent from birthdays and Christmases, researching buses to Chicago where a cousin lived, drafting a letter for Mum to find after I'd gone. But my father must have sensed my plans. My whispers with Lucy, the money hidden under my mattress, my talk of Chicago. On August 10th, 1973, everything changed. I was 16, the summer heat fading into a cool Springfield night. Mum was out, delivering dresses to a wealthy client in Westwood. "I'll be back by 10, she said, kissing my forehead. Alone with him, my stomach knotted, his recent silence and watchful eyes unnerving. I locked myself in my room, pretending to study, but really planning my escape. I'd saved $200, enough for a bus ticket and a few days' survival until I reached my cousin. At 8 p.m, he knocked. "Marina, I made you tea. Open the door." Tea? He never touched the kitchen. It was women's work. "I'm studying, Dad," I called. "I don't want any." "It's chamomile," he pressed. "It'll help you relax for your test. You've been so tense." His voice had a fake sweetness that screamed danger. I opened the door a crack to take the cup, hoping to shut it fast. But he wedged his foot in. "Drink it now," he said, his tone shifting to a command. The yellowish tea looked normal, but my gut screamed. "It's hot," I stalled, blowing on it, pretending to sip. "It's good, Dad, thanks," I said, trying to close the door. "Drink it all," he insisted, eyes fixed on me. I took a tiny sip, hoping it was safe. It tasted bitter, wrong. "See, not so hard," he smiled, stepping back. I shut the door, ran to the window and dumped the tea into the yard bushes. My survival instincts, honed over years, told me it wasn't just tea. 20 minutes later, my vision blurred, my limbs grew heavy. That tiny sip was enough. I splashed water on my face, paced, fought the daze. Then my door opened. He had a spare key. "Is the tea working, Princess?" he asked, his voice distant as I swayed. What did you put in it?" I slurred. "Just something to help you relax," he said, stepping closer, "for our special moment." Those words ignited a terror like none before. This wasn't like the other times. This was worse. My father's eyes held a cold, calculated glint, different from the usual menace. As he closed in, I tried to crawl away, but the sedative in the tea, later confirmed as a heavy dose, locked me in a haze. I was awake, aware, but my body betrayed me, sluggish and unresponsive. "Dad, no, please," I begged, voice weak. "Shh, Princess," he whispered. "This is special today." What followed is a scar I can't fully describe even now. The drug kept me conscious but paralysed, trapped in a nightmare where I felt every touch, heard every breath, but couldn't scream, couldn't run. It was like watching my own horror unfold, powerless. Then a sound, the front door creaking, footsteps, Mum's voice. "Anthony, Marina, I'm home early. Mrs. Johnson wasn't feeling well." Panic flashed in my father's eyes, a rare crack in his control. He hadn't counted on her return. "Anthony, where are you?" Her steps neared my room. He scrambled to cover his tracks, but it was too late. The door swung open, and Mom's face, always so gentle, twisted into horror. Her purse hit the floor with a thud. My God, what's happening? Time stopped. My father froze. I tried to speak, but only slurred sounds came out. "Claire, it's not what you think," he stammered, voice shaking. "Marina's sick, a fever." "Shut up!" Mum's scream, raw and fierce, shattered the air. She'd always been soft-spoken, but now her voice carried a mother's primal rage. "Get away from her!" He reached for her, spinning excuses, but she recoiled. "Don't touch me!" She rushed to me, semi-conscious, on the bed. "Marina, what did he do to you?" I managed. "Mum, tea, he put something—" Her eyes widened, understanding dawning, then darkening with a fury I'd never seen. She turned on him, a small woman transformed into a lioness, fists pounding his chest, nails clawing. "Monster! Demon! Your own daughter!" He stumbled back, fear in his eyes for the first time, pinned against the wall. "Claire, you're crazy! You'll kill me!" he yelled. "That's the idea!" she roared. In my drugged haze, I saw her grab scissors from my desk, blood already staining his shirt, her apron. She could kill him and go to prison for it, destroying what was left of us. With every ounce of strength, I dragged myself to the bed's edge and croaked, "Mom, stop! He's not worth it!" My voice, slurred but desperate, broke through. She froze, scissors trembling in her hand, blood on her apron. "My God, what am I doing?" she whispered. My father seized the moment, bolting for the door. I heard his frantic steps, the slam of the front door. He was gone. Mum dropped the scissors and enveloped me, sobbing. "Marina, forgive me. How could I be so blind?" As the drug's grip eased, I hugged her back. "Not your fault, Mum." "It is," she said, voice breaking. "I was supposed to protect you." We clung to each other, two shattered souls in a wrecked home. When I could speak clearly, I spilled everything. The touches at 8, the threats, the years of manipulation. 8 years of poison poured out. Mum listened, tears falling, gripping my hands. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked. "I was scared you wouldn't believe me, scared I'd ruin us." "What family?" she said bitterly. "A family built on lies is a prison." That night she called the police. Officers arrived, their faces grim as she recounted what she'd seen, what I'd told her. "Ma'am, you attacked him with a weapon," one said. "That's attempted homicide." "Self-defence," Mum shot back. "He drugged and abused my daughter. I'd do it again." An older officer nodded. "We'll note it as defence of a minor, but we need Marina to the hospital for tests." The hospital was gruelling. Exams, questions, pitying glances. But they found sedatives in my system and evidence of long-term abuse, confirming my story. My father didn't come home. He'd fled Springfield, dodging justice and shame, but he wouldn't get far. That night broke everything open. The secret was out, the monster exposed. The pain was immense, the future daunting. But for the first time in 8 years I could breathe. I wasn't alone anymore. Mum was with me, ready to fight, to protect me as she always should have. The days after were like balancing on a tightrope over a void. Our family, our life lay in ruins, and we groped for footing. Mum never left my side that first week, sleeping beside me, escorting me everywhere, as if making up for years of blindness. "I won't fail you again," she vowed. The neighbourhood buzzed. Curtains shut as we passed. Some judged Mum for turning him in, not him for his crimes. "Don't look at them," she'd say. "They haven't lived our pain." 3 days later, police found him in Peoria, 75 miles away, hiding at a cousin's, planning to skip to Indiana. He went quietly, resigned. Hearing of his arrest, I felt relief. He couldn't hurt me, mixed with anger, sadness for what never was, and that strange guilt victims carry. "You're not to blame," Lucy insisted. "He was the adult. All the fault is his." The legal process started in September 1973, one of Springfield's first high-profile child abuse cases. In a town where such things were hushed, our story broke the silence. Judge Roberts, a stern man in his 50s, met my trembling gaze in court with unexpected kindness. "I know this is hard, Marina," he said, "but you're doing the right thing, protecting yourself and others who could be next." His words shifted something in me. My pain, my voice, could stop this from happening to another child. For the first time, I saw my suffering as a spark for change. Testifying at my father's trial felt like tearing open barely healed wounds. I had to recount every detail: the first touches at 8, the threats, the drugged tea that final night, over and over, each word a fresh cut. My father's lawyer, Mr. Peterson, a wiry man with predatory eyes, aimed to break me. "Isn't it odd you never told anyone in all those years?" he sneered. "Not your mother, teachers, doctors." "I told my friend Lucy," I said, voice shaking but firm. He threatened me, said no one would believe me. "Just as they shouldn't now," he quipped, drawing a sharp rebuke from the judge and a protest from the prosecutor. Mum suffered too, crushed by guilt for not seeing the abuse and grilled for attacking my father with scissors. "Wasn't that excessive?" Peterson asked. "Why not call the police?" "I saw him abusing my drugged daughter," Mum said, unflinching. "I saw red." Any mother would have done the same. The trial dragged 6 months, a gauntlet of painful testimonies and invasive questions. School was a battlefield. Classmates shunned me, whispered I'd asked for it. Their words stung like salt in raw wounds. Lucy was my shield. "They're clueless," she'd say. "Don't listen." Teachers tried helping, some overly gentle, others pretending nothing happened. The principal, Mrs. Johnson, called me in. "Marina, what happened was awful, but it doesn't define you or your future," she said. Her words stuck, a lifeline. At home, we faced a new reality. Dad's mechanic shop was our main income. With him gone, Mum's sewing barely covered bills. "I'll work more," she said, dark circles framing her tired eyes. "I'll take extra orders, longer shifts." "I can get a job after school," I offered. "No," she said firmly. "Study and heal. I'll handle the rest." And she did, rising at 5 a.m., sewing until midnight. Her reputation grew. Doctors' wives, lawyers' wives, Springfield's elite sought her skill. "Your mum's a warrior," Mrs. Olson, a loyal client, said. "Not every woman defies her husband and society to protect her daughter." In December 1973, the verdict came. 12 years for statutory rape and related charges. Judge Roberts was stern. "Society trusts parents to protect their children," he said. "When that trust is broken so vilely, justice must be severe." Leaving the courthouse, I felt a weight lift. He couldn't hurt me anymore. Justice was done, but healing was just starting. On a social worker's advice, I began therapy with Dr. Martha, a trauma specialist. At first, words stuck, feelings too raw to shape. "No rush," Dr. Martha said, her calm voice a haven. "Healing's not linear. Take it one step at a time." One step at a time became my mantra through nightmares, panic attacks, and moments when a man's passing resemblance to my father froze me. Mum started therapy too, her guilt aging her overnight. "It's not your fault," I told her, reversing roles. "You didn't know. When you did everything right." In January 1974, we sold our house, its walls heavy with pain. Every room was a trigger. The scandal oddly boosted its value to curious buyers. With the money, we rented a small downtown Springfield apartment, a fresh start where no one knew us. We left behind tainted furniture, buying simple, clean things. The apartment became ours, plants in windows, Mum's sewing machine humming in the living room. Mum dreamed big, talking of a fashion course, maybe her own atelier. It was the first time I saw her look forward, a flower pushing through concrete. I rebuilt too, returning to drawing, writing in a diary to release what I couldn't say. The school library became my refuge, where books shielded me from whispers. There I met Mr. Robert, the new literature teacher, young and passionate. His book club was my weekly escape. "You've got a sharp, critical eye, Marina," he said after a Mark Twain discussion. "Ever thought about studying literature?" The idea sparked something. Hope. A future I hadn't dared imagine. By mid-1974, our apartment felt like home, filled with the smell of Mum's cooking and our small touches. Her sewing business thrived, her clients becoming friends who admired her courage. Therapy helped, nightmares faded, panic attacks eased. I studied for college entrance exams, dreaming of literature, a life truly mine. But in August, a jolt. My father sought a sentence review citing good behaviour. "He can't get out," I panicked, "not after a year." "He won't," Mum vowed, hiring Mr. Davidson, a top lawyer with savings and sold jewellery. They built a case to keep him locked up. In November, the judge denied the review. He'd serve every day. Relief came, but the scare showed his lingering shadow. "I don't want to live like this," I told Dr. Martha. "Every move he makes pulls me back." "How do you want to live?" she asked. The question stunned me. Surviving had consumed me. I hadn't dreamed of thriving. "Free," I said after days of thought. "Free from him, from fear, from the past." "What does freedom need?" she pressed. Slowly I realised. Forgiveness. Not for him, never for him, but for myself. For staying silent, for feeling guilty. For Mum too, for not seeing. Forgiving was harder than testifying, but each attempt lightened the load, loosened the chains. Christmas 1974 was our first true celebration, just us in our apartment. We cooked a simple meal, decorated a small tree with handmade ornaments, exchanged heartfelt gifts. "To new beginnings," Mum toasted with cider. "To new beginnings," I echoed, believing it possible. In July 1975 I turned 18 and Mum threw a small party with Lucy and her closest clients. "To my daughter," she toasted, "the bravest woman I know." Her words made me cry. I'd never seen myself as brave, just a survivor. But that night, surrounded by love, I felt my strength. The college entrance exams came in December 1975. I studied fiercely, books my armour. "The result doesn't matter," Mum said at the campus gate. "We've won harder battles." She was right. After facing my demons, a test was nothing. In February 1976, I was accepted into the State University's literature programme. Mum framed the newspaper listing my name, hanging it beside her fashion course certificate. "Look at us," she said, beaming. "Who'd have thought?" In 3 years we'd turned tragedy into growth. The abuse would never fade, but it no longer ruled us. We were building a life, step by step, with hope as our guide. College was a new dawn. American literature classes, fiery debates on language, and poetry readings in campus gardens rekindled my joy for life. For the first time since childhood, I dared to dream. In my second semester, I met Edward, a law student with a warm smile and glasses, in our literature study group. We bonded over books from Twain to Dickinson. "You see female characters with such depth," he said after my Hester Prynne paper, "like you know their hidden struggles." I smiled, my years of reading silences to survive sharpening that insight. Our friendship bloomed gently. Edward was kind, never crossing my boundaries. When he asked me out a year later, he added, "No pressure, Lena. Friends is fine if you're not ready." His care eased my fears, though trauma made romance daunting. Dr. Martha, my therapist, had prepared me, but real life felt raw. "Can I think about it?" I asked. "All the time you need," he said, no hint of disappointment. That night I told Mom, sewing in our apartment. "I'm scared the past will haunt me," I confessed. She paused, eyes soft with love and pain. "Fear's part of you, honey, but don't let it steer your ship. You've fought too hard." I said yes to Edward. Our first date at a lively campus cafe felt safe. We shared dreams. I wanted to teach, opening worlds for kids through stories. He aimed to be a criminal lawyer, defending the powerless. His words echoed Mr. Davidson, who'd kept my father in prison, sparking hope. Our relationship grew at my pace. A year in, I shared my past, the abuse starting at 8, the drugged tea that final night. He listened, tears falling, and held my hands. "You're the strongest person I know," he said. "I want to help you heal, if you'll let me." In 1979, a blow came. My father's sentence was reduced for good behaviour, his release nearing. Nightmares surged back. "He can't find us," I told Mom, heart pounding. Edward, now a lawyer, secured a restraining order. He couldn't contact us or enter Chicago. "It's the law's limit," he said, "but I'll enforce it." In this crisis, he proposed, not with grand gestures, but on a quiet afternoon, working on legal protections. "Marry me," he said, "not for safety, but to build a life where love wins." His steady heart let me see a joyful future. "Yes," I said, tears streaming, "I want that life." We married in January 1980, a simple ceremony with friends, Mum's clients and mentors. Mum made my dress, weaving love into every seam. "Be so happy the past fades like a bad dream," she said, adjusting my veil. We moved to Chicago, where Edward joined a human rights law firm. Leaving Mum in Springfield hurt, but she urged me on. "Build your life," she said. "I'll visit." Marriage was a journey of trust, Edward celebrating every step toward healing. I taught at a Chicago suburban elementary school, working with kids from tough homes. My scars helped me see their silent pains, offering the care I'd once needed. In 1982, I learned I was pregnant. Joy clashed with fear. Could I mother well after my past? "Your past makes you perfect for this," Edward said. "You know how to love fiercely." Mum stayed for my final pregnancy months, her presence a balm. "How did you raise me with so much darkness?" I asked, touching my belly. "Motherhood's faith," she said. "You trust beauty will bloom." Raphael was born in March 1983, a healthy boy with Edward's eyes, and Mum swore my nose. Holding him, a wound eased, not fully, but enough to break a cycle. "I'll protect you," I whispered, "and love you right." Edward, tearful, said, "We're a family now, built on love." In 1985, Julia arrived, her dark curls and bright smile stretching my heart. I left teaching to be a full-time mum, determined to give them the safe childhood I'd missed. "You sure?" Edward asked. "I'm sure," I said. "I want every moment." Mum visited from Springfield, bringing clothes she'd sewn for the kids. "I'm proudest," she said, watching me with Julia, "that you didn't let him win. You built beauty from pain." In 1988, my father died in prison, a heart attack. I felt no joy, just closure. "I'm at peace," I told Edward, "because he can't hurt anyone now." Edward's career soared, defending abuse victims with a passion shaped by my story. Raphael and Julia grew kind, raised with lessons of respect and consent. In 1995, Mum was diagnosed with breast cancer. "Come to Chicago," I begged. She chose Springfield, her home. I visited every 2 weeks, bringing the kids to cheer her, cooking her favourite meals. We talked to survivors. "The best revenge," I told her, knitting together, "is a full, happy life." She smiled. "You've always been wiser than me." She passed in August 1996, peacefully in her sleep. At her funeral, I vowed to carry her legacy of strength, helping those in need. Raphael became a paediatrician, aiding traumatized kids. Julia followed Edward into law, championing women's rights. I shared my story with them when they were ready, explaining my protectiveness. "You're the strongest woman I know, Mum," Julia said. "It was my choice," I replied, "the best one." Edward and I aged together, our love deepening. "You turn pain into love," he said at 60, still my anchor, healing others with your scars. The night that changed everything was August 10th, 1973. I was 16, alone with my father, who drugged my tea to make me compliant. I was semi-conscious, trapped in my body as he assaulted me, worse than ever before. Mum came home early, catching him. Her scream, her fury, her scissors drawing his blood, it stopped him. She could have killed him, but I begged her to stop. He fled, but the police caught him. That night, the secret broke open, and though the pain was immense, it set me free to heal with Mum by my side. Now, at 68, I'm Grandma Lena to 5 wonderful grandkids, sharing my story to reach others suffering in silence. You're not alone. There's healing, hope, a life beyond trauma. Scars linger, but they can become badges of courage. If this resonates, know you deserve love, help, a future free from your past. My dears, if my story touched you, leave a like, subscribe, and comment Amen to show it reached you. Share your state. I'd love to know where you are. Join Grandparents' Tales for more stories of turning pain into wisdom. A warm hug from this grandma who learned scars forge a unique strength. Thank you for listening. No matter your darkness, there's a path to light. Farewell, my dears, until next time.